We're in the kitchen cooking you up an absolute beauty of a match. It's the RLO Grand Slam. Make sure to use hashtag RLO Grand Slam on Twitter. Tell us about how bad our beards are, how bad our hairstyle is. It is COVID-19 hair, and it is COVID-19 awesome esports action from Psyonix. And this match, I think, is one that we've all been looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I am going to be super excited for this. Just talking around the scene, a lot of people have been calling this sort of the match they were most excited to see. They feel this could be the closest one of the day. Skyfire taking on Cringe Society. But something I want to quickly address, why does everyone hate on the natural curls, man? Like, this is all natural. I don't do too much to it because I don't have to. I mean, yeah, I'm waiting for the barbershop to open up. Still, though, back to the action at hand. Yeah, Skyfire, Cringe Society. I have a lot of expectations for Skyfire. Again, it always feels like there's this new team, although this might not be new players, that's always fighting to crack in sort of that top three, become one of the Oceania greats, and this might be that latest iteration of it, but they've already beaten Ground Zero once.
We saw Walcott and Misty have a great performance in the Spring Series. They bring in Ghost, a perennial top 8, and at this point in time, you look at Team Skyfire and you may think, okay, these guys are pretty new, but you've got to sit down and say, Walcott, at this point, I always think of him as this baby player, brand new to the scene. He's a veteran. He's been in RLCS since Season 4 under Conspiracy Esports. He's been to Worlds. And Ghost and Misty consistently coming in the top 8 over and over and over again. These guys, on paper, are actually pretty solid as a team. The problem is, they're up against 3 of the greats in Cringe Society.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, Deca, Torsos, and Drippe, I feel like their resumes speak for themselves at this stage. This is, a newer Cringe Society. It's not the same one we saw at the start of the year. However, the results are already coming through for this new lineup. They want to compete with the likes of Renegades in Grand Finals. They want to win tournaments. That's sort of their expectation. And for Team Skyfire, this new lineup, trying to make its mark, this is a true challenge at hand. I'm very excited to see how this goes. I think this is going to be another one of sort of those like benchmark or sort of like pace setting series where we really get a true understanding of where Skyfire might lie. But we also haven't really seen Cringe Society play in a good long while. Again, one of those 2 teams that were automatically seeded. They didn't have to go for that qualifier. So we saw the Renegades with a bit of rust before. Let's see what Cringe Society looked like straight out of the gate.
You're perfectly on the right track as well. When we last saw them in the Spring Series, Cringe Society made a huge wave, qualifying for the Grand Final through the upper bracket and going to Game 7 with Renegades, who looked really hot at the end of that day. The thing is, that was Cringe Society only just after they formed their roster. They've had a month or so since then to really practice, to really grind it out and become the best team. So this is also our first chance to really see how far they've come.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting series for sure. I can't wait to kick this one off. I imagine it's going to be just around the corner right now. And again, taking a look, I want to think, or at least going back to sort of the prize pool in this one, what these teams are playing for. They've already hit that $3,500 bracket, but you add another $3K at least just for winning this series. So quite a bit on the line, as here we see right here. That's 5th and 6th is where they're sitting right now. You win, you're in that 3rd or 4th, so that's another 3,000. You win again, you're looking at 9,000. You win it all, 14K USD, not AUD, so it's even more really for us Australians. And oh boy, I mean, that adds a bit of pressure, I feel like, for the likes of Skyfire in particular.
And for Cringe Society as well, they kind of haven't been with an org for so long. They're looking for both the money at the very top, the 14 grand, but also for the chance to get their name out there a little bit more, to have more leverage with those top esports organizations to really give them that extra step. Team Skyfire obviously coming in, a long name in esports, even in OCE, but it is time to get underway. Can Skyfire prove themselves in the top 4? Can they make the top 4 against Cringe Society? A big shot already from Torsos, and the attack continues for Cringe Society.
Yeah, 3 strikes, but 3 misses as Ghost is able to get that critical last save, and maybe Skyfire will be able to fight back. A great touch from Walcott will find that opening goal, and it goes to Team Skyfire.
I guess surprising plays that start for both teams. Drippe going for an incredibly late challenge from the corner there. Walcott recognizes that he can just take a shot. And Skyfire getting such a great start after a perfect qualifier run earlier this week.
Absolutely, and it doesn't look like Skyfire want to let up, at least initially. Drippe, that faster one on the ball, a beautiful bump should open the door, but no, it's an awkward miss, and instead, a Skyfire counterattack. Here comes the shot from Misty, a great save by Deca, though, stops it in its tracks.
Really smart play from Walcott too. He handed off to his teammate just to give him extra time to go for the bump. And that was a major part of why Canberra Havoc made it to Worlds in the first place. Walcott is very clever about how he goes for those offensive demos.
Absolutely, and a bit unfortunate that neither team was able to turn both of those opportunities into gold, really, but just goes to show how strong the defense has been, at least thus far into this one. 1 minute down, a nice little flick from Drippe, but Ghost able to make that read already. Torso in the corner, going to slow the pace down. Again, trying for the delayed flick, but Misty able to make another big read. Will now try to push the ball forward himself. Ball in the box. Torsos with a pass up to Drippe. He actually puts a touch on target, but Ghost can make that save.
Drippe looking to get a shot on. Torsos has the chance. He gets it on target, and Torsos equalizes with a beauty off the backboard.
Yeah, watching this again, Drippe, a nice setup, just a meatball across the middle. Walcott actually a little bit too slow on his own defensive effort right there, and that opens the door for Torsos to tie this game up. Very much a faster-paced game, it almost feels like, than our last one. Both these teams just coming at each other.
Never a dull moment, and there's also been some big mistakes of both these teams in terms of mechanical misses, so plenty of room to improve, plenty of room for these teams to grow throughout the series. At the moment, though, it looks like Cringe Society have figured out their attack, they've figured out how to keep that pressure on, but that pass, they haven't figured out how to be in the receiving part of that pass from Deca.
Yeah, but what I liked from Cringe Society was they immediately fell back as soon as they recognized that pass wasn't going to be, entirely what they wanted. They are still showing Skyfire respect. They're also recognizing that they don't need to force plays. They can still play a smart game. They'll have those opportunities. And again, it looks like Cringe Society is going to be pushing forwards across the middle. It's a shot from Torsos, a little bit high and wide, but Drippe still playing the middle of the pitch. A good second touch from Misty, though. Might get something going, but Walcott way off with this challenge.
That's a big demo from Drippe. Exactly what we want to see. He's been having questions around him about his performance, but he feels to me like a real sturdy player right now, Drippe. Opening it up, playing the midfield very well, and connecting with Deca and Torsos.
That first touch from Deca as well to just juke out Walcott, which opened the door for that demo and that goal. Just shows how Cringe Society, how well they communicate and how well they can play as a team. Again, this isn't the Spring Series Cringe Society. This is the Cringe Society that has a bit more time under their belt, a bit more competitive experience, and they're already putting it to use in this one.
Ghost gets that 50-50 and has the long drive. He's got support. It is actually Misty who has to come in from the back half of the field instead of Walcott, who was across. Pass is not quite working out so far for Skyfire like they are for Team Cringe Society.
Deca tries to push it forward himself. He kind of looked like, the hippo surrounded by the Skyfire Lions right there as he was trying to drive it across the side of the pitch. That said, Cringe Society still looking to mount something. A great touch from Missy actually turns into the pass to Ghost, who is unable to get underneath that ball and redirect it. Still going to try and shut things down in the middle of the pitch. The faster team gets to the ball first. This time it will be Skyfire. Touch to Misty. Going to go for a backboard setup, but it's an awkward touch off the crossbar that sets up Ghost. Somehow can't get it underneath, and Misty has to throw the ball to the corner.
They did all the work for it. They had a goal, they had an open net, and Misty hits the post, and they don't get the follow-up with all three players having a chance at a shot, and again, Walcott can't get it in. It's begging for a goal. Skyfire have not been able to tie up the game.
And, it's not as if they're going for the easiest shots, but you've got to be able to connect on these opportunities, especially against the likes of the Cringe Society. It's kind of what separates the good teams from the great teams. You need to be firing on all cylinders, and Skyfire just a little bit sluggish on these setups at time. Maybe they can make something happen right now as Misty goes for a backboard setup. It looked as if Ghost had pushed a little too far forward, so again, he's trying to slow it down, try to keep that offensive pressure there, but too much time is given, and Cringe Society look for the counterattack.
Society hoping just hold on to this lead now, and they're doing very well, spreading out, rotating, just sending one person towards the ball to try and keep it in that defense path, but they have to back off now as Ghost starts pushing that one forward. A demo from Deca will release the pressure.
Yeah, and now we'll turn it right back on to the Skyfire side, at least momentarily. Ghost going to go try straight over the middle. Good read from Deca, gets to the ball just before Misty, and with 20 seconds remaining, Skyfire, they're running out of chances in this first game.
Going to be very tough, but they actually have an opportunity here as it goes into this back half. A shot coming through from Misty. Actually, it's a pass, but Torsos intercepts and makes sure to secure the ball and the game in game number 1.
With the 0 boost, he's just keeping everyone from Skyfire away. That said, they do get the ball up. That is Misty, who's looking for an avenue from underneath. It does get spiked down, and Cringe Society ice that first game. So 1-0 for the Society. Again, they are looking at a little bit faster, that little bit more consistent, particularly on offense. And for Team Skyfire, that's okay. I mean, it's looking a lot closer than our series did earlier today.
There's a big problem, though. Cringe Society have always had a really rough start, and I wouldn't disagree even that they had a rough start in this one. They have the tendency to go over aggressive. They worked it out really well, and they got 10 shots on net from their pressure. But you also saw that they did have that same problem of overcommitting. Unfortunately, though, for Skyfire, they didn't capitalize on those open nets, on those counterattacks, and they've lost game 1. I'm expecting Cringe Society to only get better from here and figure out, just how far they can push up.
Yeah, at that same token, though, I do expect Skyfire at the same time to be able to maybe make some more of those goals. I mean, yeah, you could argue that the MVP of Game 1 might have been the Cringe Society crossbar, but crossbar consistency isn't something you need to bank on, and if Skyfire can continue to make those opportunities, eventually I think that score will climb a little bit. But if Cringe Society up their own game, well, we might not even see those same opportunities for Skyfire in the future. I think that's what makes Game 2 very interesting, to see which team is a bit faster at adapting and improving their gameplay.
Well, we talked about in the previous series, both teams having something to prove. It's still the same here. Cringe Society want to prove they're the best. You've got Deca attempting to prove that he really belongs on this roster and he belongs at the top spot of OCE. And at the other end, you've got Ghost, who just got dropped from Mindfreak, who got blamed maybe for the poor performance at the end of that season. Now he's got a new chance to prove himself once again.
Yeah, a new chance on a new lineup, and Skyfire as well. Yeah, I mean, you have to acknowledge the fact that this is a team that did beat Ground Zero during the qualifiers to get themselves that number 3 seed. So this is not a team of slouches by any stretch. They can perform against some of the greats in the Oceanic region despite being a newer roster. So I don't expect them to lie down in this series at all, as already you can see Misty just forcing the ball down the pitch, throwing it up for Ghost, who puts that shot on target. Good read from Torsos, but Misty already in that corner, back across the middle. Walcott with the shot will find the net, and it is 1-0 for the Dragon.
What a turn by Misty as well on this corner, and gets the pass off the backboard. Deca caught in a rough position. Early lead now for Skyfire.
Yeah, they had that early before in game number 1, but I like the speed that they're coming out of that ball when on offense. If that continues, I can only see good things in their future. Cringe Society, though, going to try and answer back. Drippe taking the ball straight over the top. Torsos with a good touch, tries to go for the backboard. Misty there waiting, willing. Deca throwing it back, and again, Misty with that second touch. He's been so good at getting those second little touches when pushing up the pitch right now.
Honesty, when it comes to Cringe Society, they want to play a style that gets them first to the ball and gets them solid challenges over and over again. For Skyfire, the demos from Walcott is going to be how they stop that, but that's a straight dunk into the net, and Drippe gets that one back.
Trying to have a little sip of water right there, and I almost spat it all over my keyboard. A beautiful dunk from Drippe to equalize this game, and that is why you cannot be lax against a team like Cringe Society.
Well, defensive dribbles like that from Walcott is definitely going to make you take a spit take, because that was not the smartest decision in the world. He opened up that pinch towards his net. And unfortunately, against a team like Cringe Society, you cannot afford to make mistakes. It's very difficult to score against them as well.
Absolutely, and again, Skyfire, they have that early lead just immediately disintegrate, it feels like, as Torsos going to try to take it over the middle. That's a swing and a miss. Fortunately, Misty is able to get underneath it, but that might open the door. Shot coming from Drippe, a little bit off target. Torsos now has to race back, somehow gets behind that ball and pushes it still forwards. And Cringe Society, the speed of this team, it always impresses me, and their ability to recover in sort of these awkward aerial situations.
almost halfway through, and it's been a low-scoring affair so far. Not a lot of pressure coming out like we saw game one, but a lot of open nets for Cringe Society.
Oh, you don't want to see goals like that all the time. Maybe one or two is pretty funny, but again, it's another dunk situation where the ball just gets pinched straight towards an open net. Ghost losing out on that challenge, and it's going to be one that he wants back.
The worst part for Walcott as well is he was expecting it to be a 50, and it goes over the top of that player. That's why the net was open. It is tough scenes as Torsos tries to get one in. It almost bounces the other way. Payback, but quite as it's always gone ever so slightly in the favor of Cringe Society, playing a little bit faster at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit faster. Their touches that little bit more accurate. Even like the bounces always just seem to be going their way that little bit more. And it just comes from being, that experienced team, that like high level team, It looks like luck sometimes, but it is not the case. It is just, that ever so superior play. And at the moment, Torsos kind of showing that he's bumping, he's dribbling, he's opening up doors, and Deca is then slamming them shut.
A major factor of that speed from from Cringe Society is how much they're stealing the boost and how much boost control they have. All three of their players are very comfortable in that play. Only one player on Skyfire had any boost left. That's what gives them these opportunities.
I mean, when it turns it into that 3-to-1 power play, and you're usually going to bet on the team with 3. Walcott now, good little defensive touch, looking to push the ball over. Skyfire, just under 2 minutes remaining. They kind of need to get something with one of their next opportunities if they're going to have a realistic shot back in this one. Misty going to go for that double touch. Torsos, great read off the backboard, as well as being able to pass it to Drippe, who throws it back to Deca. And I love it when teams are able to go for these defensive passes in order to clear it back the pitch, but because Team Skyfire fell so far back, they were able to read.
One thing we missed from that last play as well from Misty is he failed his wave dash out of attack, and it slowed his rotation back to defense by so much, and that can also be the difference between these top teams. It seems like such a minor thing, but one missed wave dash can make all the difference between you being able to solidly defend or not.
Well, what I'm going to take from that point, at least, is the fact that my low accuracy when it comes to hitting wave dashes is why I'm still bad, and that's going to be the only reason why. Nothing else, just my inability to wave dash consistently. I digress. Okay, twice now.
Great wave dash out of casting right there.
Yeah, Walcott pushing forward. Ghost now. Gonna throw that ball up. Actually going to go for a bit of a solo play. Is challenge ball in a very dangerous spot, but Ghost is unable to land on it, and Torsos gets a little touch, not hard enough. Deca from playing behind the goalpost finally clears it, but it's not cleared hard. Shot from Ghost, not hitting the mark. Drippe somehow makes the save, and I am not sure how Cringe Society survived that one.
It was desperation hours for Skyfire. You saw that there was a potential open net, but both Misty and Walcott wanted it. In the end, Misty takes it away from Walcott and probably takes the game away as Torsos gets the one that secures it.
Yeah, that last kind of goal in dead time definitely will secure this one. Torsos, showing off a little bit as he pushes it in, but Cringe Society looking even stronger than they did in game number 1, punishing every little mistake that Skyfire makes, and moving forward, that is a very promising sign for those fans of the society out there.
4-1, a very solid scoreline, but more importantly, another game where they outshoot their opponents by a large margin. And 1-0. I'm glad that there was not a single second left on the clock. I don't want to see a 1-second kickoff in a 5-1 goal game. We've all experienced it in rain. Just get to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good with the 0 second, though, right on that 0 second mark. I think those are always fun and kind of boost morale a little bit. However, it's probably not great feeling for that Skyfire side. If there's something they can take away from that second game, it's the fact that it might be an easier one to bounce back from. But taking a look at the stats as a whole right now, starting to look a lot more similar to what we saw in that first series. Nearly double the shots coming from Cringe Society. The possession definitely on their side. And only one player, Ghost, really going for demos right now from Skyfire. And I'd like to see that kind of get spread out a little bit more.
The funny thing is that I felt like Skyfire played better in game 2 than game number 1. Of course, they gave away a couple of pinches that shouldn't have happened, but Cringe Society also picked up, and they did exactly what I was saying in terms of finding that balance in aggression that ends up leading them to get more goals, even though they're playing a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, and again, they translates into, Skyfire, they may have played a cleaner game, but those little mistakes that they did make just got punished that much harder by the faster and more aggressive playing Cringe Society. And we know Cringe Society, at least, perhaps their older roster iteration back when they had Spydos, to be that team that was always so comfortable on attack. And to see them start to find almost that identity again is pretty exciting. I'm a little bit worried for Skyfire right now. I think they're going to have to struggle to fight back in this one. I want to see a bit cleaner defensive touches coming from them moving forward. But as a whole right now, I'd be very excited to be a Cringe Society fan.
Yeah, we didn't get really a lot of demos from Skyfire, from Walcott, who we normally expect to be that demo man. On Canberra Havoc, again, refer to their top 2 performance. He was the demo man. He got so many demos to open up the net. And that's going to be how they continue to take down Cringe Society and even maybe tilt them a little bit, get them annoyed and get them thinking about demos more. Because Cringe Society have always been best when they're playing, I guess, more of a challenge, more of a up-to-the-air first style. If you can actually get into their minds and change their mindset towards demos by demoing them in the first place, you actually mess with their play.
Yeah, game 2 just felt a lot more like a Cringe Society game than game number 1, and it is up for Skyfire to disrupt that. It's very interesting to see Ghost almost becoming the demo man so far in this one and have it not be Walcott. I'd like to see both of them be able to step up as well, as we'll soon be getting into this next game. Look, this probably isn't the deepest analysis, but this could be my own personal worries starting to creep up right now. I don't want 2 sweeps in a row. Like the others, they got fun series, a bit of back and forth. Am I allowed to be biased like that? Am I allowed to say, can we not have 2 sweeps?
No, give me the crushinating. Give me people absolutely stomping their competition. I don't want to see a 4-3. Oh, they just won. Who's the better team? I want Cringe Society, or even the reverse over from Skyfire, to say, no, we absolutely smashed you. We are way better. Just go on Twitter and make fun of each other for being so bad. None of this game 7s. I'm sure they're fun to cast and fun to watch, but they're not fun for the drama they cause. I want a little bit more spiciness in my life.
All right. Like, this is why I always say, like, I'm the yin, you're the yang in this situation. We always seem to go after different things.
Well,
but
I'm the jerk, like.
Wasn't that? I need to look up on my mythos on that and actually figure out what yin and yang is before I can accurately address that. However, what I do know is we are back on the pitch. Deca pushing forward for Cringe Society again, trying to slam that door shut. Show no mercy to Team Skyfire. Torsos on the fall through, can't beat Walmart.
It is this next game, and I want to see as well if Cringe Society can continue their rotation in a very solid spot. When they are a little bit more defensive, they actually have better pressure. They give themselves wider rotation. They back themselves up a little bit more further away to keep that ball in, rather than seeing that ball go over their head. And so far, it is looking good in that regard.
Yeah, it is, although that's a lot of awkward misses right there. Torsos might be able to take advantage, goes for the flick, does get it bumped a little bit, but it's not that big defensive clear that we were looking for. Torsos actually kind of got in the way of Drippe, who's still able to get to that ball. Torsos tried to play through the corner. Ghost does just enough to stop one attacker, not the second, but finally, Team Skyfire buys themselves a bit of breathing.
Yeah, they almost decided to prove me wrong as soon as I said it. A couple of big cuts coming from Cringe Society, some creeps, end up costing them their pressure in the end. And I don't like to see it, but it gives Walcott the chance, and he gets a beauty of a shot in the top right corner.
Too much space given to Walcott in that one. Unfortunately, Drippe alone could not push out of the box. And although it was a very valiant and very close effort, the reaction time coming from Drippe, insane. Walcott, with that amount of space and time, he's going to sink those.
And all coming off the over-aggression from Cringe Society, like we saw in Game 1, that wasn't punished. This time it is, and Skyfire are all of a sudden feeling a new breath of fresh air.
Perhaps, but they have gone up 1-0 in both of the first 2 games before, and those leads have kind of quickly dissipated, and already Cringe Society looking to do the same. They are on the attack. Torsos with a touch will sail right over the top, and we are top.
As you like to say, you're exactly right. That was not very long before this got tied up. Walcott wanted to half volley that backwards clear. He ended up hitting it just before it hits the ground, and that spills out right into the middle.
Yes, and with that, once again, we are tied. 3.5 minutes to go. Kickoff looking very good for Torsos with that cheat down the middle. Not quite hit hard enough, so Walcott is able to go for that defensive pass. Ghost is the one who gets the shot, but nothing behind that. An easy stave and read for Drippe. The rest of Skyfire already were falling back, so you can see sort of a defensive mindset coming from this Dragon side. Shot from Deca will be caught by Misty.
It's great seeing Decker as well. You know, on the last season of RLCS, people considered him the most informed player, the best player in OCE, but right now, Misty is the one scoring the goal.
As we watch this again right here, Torsos kind of stuck in no man's land, hit the brakes on the post, and that just opened the door for Misty to go across the net and into the goal. So Skyfire, for the first time in the series, have a 2-1 lead.
Another surprise again for Cringe Society to push up so hard on that one. Both their goals so far have been them pushing hard, getting into a difficult defensive position where one person has to get a miracle save. And the shots coming out from Skyfire have been spot on.
Yeah, and that was something that was lacking, particularly in game number 1. We saw a lot of these similar opportunities. Hold that thought, Deca just equalized this game.
The absolute heart on this, man. I cannot believe he went in for this one. Ghost had the clear, but Deca was already up for the dunk before he got the touch, and he gets that on target. Man, if that didn't go in, that was going to be worrisome for Cringe Society.
Yeah, the confidence on that, but I think just scoring against Cringe Society does make them that little bit angrier and that little bit more aggressive where they start to go for these types of plays. And fortunately for Cringe Society, they have been working, but Skyfire already looking to fire right back. Torsos, a lot of space to work with across the center of the pitch. Will throw it up for Deca, who gets that last touch. Misty with the save, but Walcott is bumped out of the play. Not fast enough to take advantage of it just yet. Drippe, great waterfall setup. Torsos unfortunately can't bang it in.
This time it's Deca who's left in defense, but he's up to the task. Just that one touch is enough to slow down Walcott enough for the goal to not happen. And now it's the counterattack. Deca gets it past one, almost past two, but he doesn't get that goal. Stays equalized.
That was a great defensive effort by Ghost right there. I thought that was going to find its way in somehow, just to become too accustomed to it perhaps. As it stands, Cringe Society, though, still looking for that attack. Deca catching the ball mid-pitch, but puts it too far in front of him. Ghost to Misty. Looking to throw it back down to Walcott, but he was far too far behind, so Drippe instead will take possession, take it across himself. Ghost actually loses out on that challenge. Through the corner we go. Deca underneath, off the backboard. There's the pass. Where's the shot? Not there, because Walcott steals it away.
And we actually see Ghost finally getting an attack on, but he has no boost. Walcott, no boost. Misty, 70 boost. So the only play, he has to make some kind of solo play. And in the end, the defense is going to save a single shot when there's no backup, when there's no pass, there's no way to open up that net.
Yeah, but I mean, the one good thing that came from that was Skyfire, I guess, used that attack to get more boost, but I think they would have liked to use that to get more gold instead. Walcott across the middle actually finds a bit of a gap to throw it to Misty right now. Back in that corner is Drippe, and that is one of the best touches I've actually seen on defense thus far from Cringe Society, because they can throw it right down ahead. Oh, perhaps an open door for Torsos. Walcott makes a good read, a beautiful second touch. Means the attack is still on, but no boost coming from Deca. Not sure what happened there. He just kind of let Skyfire clear it down the middle.
That could have been a goal. The net was open, and Ghost just need to get it on target. Of course, the first priority is to win the race to the ball, and that's very difficult. Big shout out to Skyfire, who have worked so well with so little boost throughout the entire game and held on to this tied game.
Exactly. I mean, you have to play near immaculately in these types of situations when you are being boost starved this heavily, but Skyfire doing enough to make these touches. I think survival into overtime might be the name of the game for them right now. Ghost, though, going for bumps. Maybe they can find an opening. Dying seconds of regulation. It is Cringe Society on the attack. Misty will spike it down, and we have our first overtime of the series.
This is such a crucial one for Skyfire. They need to win this game. And that's not how you do it. Drippe off the kickoff. Disaster for Skyfire, but Cringe Society are happy as clams.
Oh, Walcott trying to cheat down the middle. Just found himself underneath that ball in no man's land. Not fast enough to be able to get in the way. And that is how Cringe Society go to match point. Again, so much fanfare, so much hype for this series, and to see it at 3-0, and for the most part, a comfortable 3-0. Okay, Game 3 was the tightest one we've seen yet, but that overtime was just a breeze for the Society.
They just keep getting so much pressure. They're always in the opponent's half, and sure, that leads to them sometimes overcommitting, but they've also made up an extra goal or two to make up for that. And in the end, that's just so difficult when you also have Team Skyfire making a mistake off kickoff. They did well to go into overtime by playing so cleanly, even with little boost, but eventually the mistake's going to happen.
And yeah, again, too, when I was looking at the stats, the other thing that I kind of stood out to me was, well, we wanted to see more from Skyfire, or perhaps more of those bumps, more of those demos, but they had 0 demos that game. They weren't able to get that going, and I feel it could just open up so many more doors for them, especially if it does do, as you say, and throw Cringe Society a bit off their game, because Cringe Society has been on the attack, it feels like, so much. They need to do something besides, critical defensive touches in order to throw that momentum back around.
I also know some of the, I guess, philosophy of Cringe Society is that it's better to make a mistake in attack than it is in defense, and that's why they like being up there, why they often pile in. You miss that, you still have a chance to make a save. You're not going to throw off your teammates. If you're in defense and you make a miss, not only does it get past you and potentially a goal by itself, but the player behind you in defense is going to be so much more panicked. He's so comfortable in attack, and we'll see if that continues. Game number 4, Cringe Society have the chance to stomp Skyfire down into that loser's bracket.
Yeah, and you'd have to think that's going to be a little bit disappointing for the Skyfire side if they do go down 4-0. Again, though, they won't be out of this tournament. They will have that second chance against Aurora tomorrow to make it to the semifinals, but you want to put together a better performance than a 4-0 win, or lose in this instance, so lose or lose. Still pressure coming from this Skyfire side. Now, they've gotten the first goal so far in every game thus far, and then it's kind of had that lead taken away from them. Cringe Society trying to find the first goal this time, but the defense will hold on.
I guess the nice advantage for Skyfire here, they already worked their way through the qualifiers, had a big showing, and they're versing the number 2 seed. It's not like a normal single elimination where at this point they would be versing number 7 or number 5 in order to make it through. Now they have a chance to go to that lower bracket and verse that number 5 seed to have that opportunity to make it further either way.
Exactly that. So you get 2 chances to play for 3,000 USD as the minimum. And what are the benefits? And I absolutely love the fact that we have gone to like an AFL bracket for this tournament. I mean, it makes sense. OCE, we gotta adapt how we can, and I think it's a actually beautiful format for Rocket League, and I do hope to see more of it in the future. Hint, hint to whoever designs those tournaments out there. Attack right now coming from Cringe Society, ball across the box, but no one's there to bang.
I mean, if we're going to talk about it, I just hope for a long season in the future where players could truly earn their spot at the top. The Cringe Society have shown why they are in the top 2 in this game. They have 3 minutes left to secure it a 4-0 or Skyfire to make one of the most difficult reverse sweeps that would ever happen in OCE.
I mean, yeah, that would be absolutely astounding if Skyfire can make it go the distance. Ghost nearly goes for the solo play there. Drippe doesn't find the touch, and Walcott's there for the save. Torsos throwing it back to Deca. Shot on target. Stopped by the first man. And again, Cringe Society, they're where they're comfortable. Drippe finds the crossbar, and the ball falls in. 1-0 for the Society.
Is this 2019? What a shot by Drippe. Past a defender, immediately outpaces him on the line and gets it top corner and in. It does not get better than that.
A beautiful goal, and for the first time all series in the game that matters most for them, Cringe Society do find the opener. They find the second as well as Deca takes it straight down the middle.
This is looking more and more dire for Skyfire. Deca gets that one off the kickoff. Another kickoff goal as well coming out for Cringe Society.
Yeah, Deca was just that little bit faster than Ghost in getting to the middle of the pitch, and he put an absolute laser on that one. 3 assists so far this series coming from Drippe. So again, a bit of that team player that he has been, although we have seen some moments of brilliance with some of his shots right now. And Torsos again challenging, not letting Skyfire get a quick attack on them, buying time for Cringe Society to set up. Drippe will follow through. Good touch from Ghost, but it's straight down the middle. Deca with the pass. It's caught, but the shot's not on target.
This is starting to look scary good for Cringe Society. This is the best of them that we've seen throughout the series. Some great passes, great offensive plays, working together, getting brilliant shots as well. What can Skyfire do to bring this game and the series back?
I feel like they just need to find a bit more speed, because not only are Cringe Society really starting to vibe, but they're doing so at such an accelerated pace that we haven't seen from them yet. Another great touch from Torsos. It's going to come off the backboard. Nobody underneath immediately, but you can see they're still challenging. They're not letting Skyfire get anything for free right now.
It's so tough for Skyfire. Doesn't look like they're even getting the chances so far. You've got individuals making big solo plays, but they're starting to run out of boost at the end of them, so they can't get that final flip reset, they can't get that final 50-50 to set it up for one of their teammates. And now it's right in front of the net. Torsos will get that goal and really put the nail on the head. Oh, I'm so bad at that saying.
Put the nail in the coffin.
Put the nail in the coffin, nail the head on the coffin. Yeah, you know, it's a hard saying.
We're not tradies here, okay? We're not tradies. We don't know the fancy tool things, all right? What's the difference between a wrench and a sprocket? I don't really know. Misty looking to try and maybe get something back for Skyfire to fight back into this, but with just over a minute remaining, a 3-0 scoreline, Cringe Society looking hotter than they did all series. Nothing short than a miracle is going to save that Dragon team in this one.
Yeah, Skyfire all out of flame at this point. Deca will be continuing on this attack. We need to see something from Skyfire. Ghost getting beaten to the ball. Somebody, in terms of Ghost, he's normally one of the players who's fastest to the ball. He'll go up almost immediately, almost to his detriment, but it also creates a lot of opportunity. But he's still getting beaten to the ball just by pure mechanical speed from the opponents.
And that is the first shot Skyfire has taken all game. Yes, it goes in, but there's only 37 seconds remaining. A good missile right there from Ghost to Walcott, so a nice catch and pass, or pass and catch. Now I'm messing them up as well, but the important thing is Skyfire, at least they got one on the board.
Still probably not enough. 35 seconds left. They need one immediately to score. And yet Deca is taking possession of the ball, playing it perfectly, just taking it into a position where their opponents can't score from to equalize the game.
Exactly that, but another shot coming from Skyfire. Again, that is their second of this game alone. It's just far too little, far too late. 13 seconds remaining. Cringe Society are looking to hold on. They might even get another goal as well. Not quite, because that would have actually been an own goal in that situation. Torso scary close for that. 2 seconds to go. It's done and dusted. Cringe Society advanced to the semifinal.
I can see why Deca left that team, because Jules did the perfect own goal earlier. He thinks he's better than that, misses the own goal, and ends up making sure that it is a comfortable win. 3-1 now, and a 4-0 for the series. Cringe Society wanted to prove themselves, and they've done just that.
Absolutely. 4-0. The only, I guess I was... Of the two teams that, got that free advance, Cringe Society Renegades, Cringe Society, they beat the team that was higher seeded, number 3 in our top 8, 4-0. So almost a little bit of a statement, I feel like, to the Renegades, who the Cringe Society have in their sights eventually. It is the projected final, but this Cringe Society team, they look so much faster, so much stronger from this series than what we saw out of them, I feel like, in Spring Series as a whole. This gets me really excited.
And on the other side, Team Skyfire, they go down, but they have not been knocked out. They have Aurora Esports tomorrow to play, so still plenty of chance. They dominated the qualification bracket. They even took down Ground Zero in the upper bracket. They took down Riot Gaming. They didn't take down Aurora Esports because they didn't have the chance, as far as I know. But for Team Skyfire, sure, it was a 4-0 loss today. Sure, it was a tough one, but they still have plenty to look forward to throughout the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am super keen to see Fiber, if he's continuing to play at the level he is, take on this Skyfire lineup. Similarly as well, Ground Zero versus Mindfreak. Ground Zero, it almost feels like they've been having consistency issues throughout. A lot of those qualifiers, yeah, they still qualified in that second seed through the qualifiers, but they didn't do it looking incredibly clean, and Mindfreak looked pretty strong today. So I think both of those 5th, 6th place match games are going to be super exciting, let alone the semifinals when we get back into things.
Oh, it is going to all kick off again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in to watch. And if you want to talk about how terrible we are at casting, or how awesome the players are at playing, or how great Jules' own goal was earlier in the day, make sure to use the hashtag RLO Grand Slam. We will be reading all your tweets and maybe read some on the stream if they're funny enough, or if they're making fun of Max enough. Not me. I'm immune, so don't anything about me. But that is it for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow, 1 p.m. AEST, and we'll see you there.